Now on CoastTV News.
Parking problems after claims of lost revenue. What Bethany Beach officials are looking to change to make up for the lost money.
Plus, Stevenson school scrutiny. With the possibility of losing its charter, we have received a response from the free charter school in their effort to remain open.
It's another morning. We're tracking some patchy fog across the peninsula. Rain develops this afternoon through Friday morning on the latest rainfall totals, and all eyes on a potential coastal storm threat over the weekend.
And airport area assessment, why the level of concern has risen for that area in Milford.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us during our 6 a.m. hour.
Yeah, and Grace, we got a foggy situation, experiencing coming in very thick, more thick than yesterday.
Yes, we were just mentioning how it almost felt like you were driving into a wall. That's how thick the fog was, at least in areas like Milton. And we've been checking our cameras all morning long from Del Dot. Yeah. We've been taking a look at Dewey, Rehoboth, a lot of the coastal towns.
Yeah, we're going to get to some of those cameras in just a moment to give you a look at what's going on outside. But to tell us all about the fog situation this morning, let's get right to First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. He's in the Weather Center. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Good morning, Del Marva. Yes, it is a foggy start to the day this morning, and we all also seeing that onshore push of moisture, so that's kind of adding to our problems this morning. 40 right now in Cambridge, and visibility down to a quarter of a mile there, and we've seen some pretty dense fog extending from Kent County down the coast through Ocean City, and also that onshore wind has kicked in over the last hour. We're at 37 in Millsboro, 39 Salisbury, 39 in Seaford, and we are holding at 34 in Rehoboth. Winds out of the northeast anywhere between about 5 to 15 miles an hour, so we're beginning to see that marine layer work into the coast here. So quite misty out there this morning. Steadier rain just off to our south as this backdoor cold front continues to slide to the south, and that moisture you see across portions of West Virginia, that's going to be swinging into our neck of the woods later on this afternoon. So we have the fog, the mist to start. We are looking at a cloudy, cool day. Temperatures only reaching the mid to upper 40s with that rain developing after about 2 o'clock, and it will be a bit heavy at times through the evening time frame, and we're going to have on and off showers overnight into Friday morning. Details on how much rain we could expect to pick up, and the latest on our coastal storm threat later on in the weekend.
All right, thank you, Chris. And for a better look at the fog conditions we've been telling you about, you are now looking live at Milford, and this is south of the city. It's just off of Route 1. Now, normally when we have this shot, in the middle of the screen, you would see a traffic circle lit up. You can't see that traffic circle. You see a little bit of lights down there at the bottom center of the screen, but a lot of fog in this view of Milford right now.
Now let's go south of Milford. Here's what we're seeing high above Ocean City. This looks a little worse than the last hour. This is the 94th Street area of Coastal Highway, and it's not looking all that clear for people heading on their morning commutes. And we were under a dense fog advisory just earlier this morning.
Yeah, Grace, with that one too, with that shot there that we just saw, it was a lot clearer at 3 in the morning. Can't really see much now at 6 in the morning. All right, our top story this hour, Bethany Beach today is looking at increasing rates for annual parking permits during the summer season. People with residential permits and beach lot permits, they have permission to park in metered spaces near the beach. At a Budget and Finance Committee on January 15th, there was discussion about an 8.2% decrease in the number of parking hours purchased. And it was recommended that the town stop giving property owners a free beach permit and raise the price of the beach permit. Those recommendations are expected to get reviewed later this morning by the town's Budget and Finance Committee. And parking revenue, that is also a continuing focus in Lewis. That city's debating fee hikes as part of its fiscal year 2027 budget. Now, we previously reported that there is a proposal of upping the hourly rate for in-town meters to $2.50 and beach parking to $3. The city says that if the fee changes go into effect this summer, it will generate about an additional $250,000. And people living in Lewis that we talked to, well, they're expecting some type of increase.
It seemed like the crowds in the summertime have gotten a lot larger. And, things get more expensive, and if they're planning on raising the parking fees, that does not surprise me.
And we could see more on the parking rate proposal at a special budget meeting that is taking place tomorrow.
Parking fees vary in each coastal community across Sussex County. In Rehoboth Beach, they charge $4 per hour at its meters in the city. And recently, officials considered extending its paid parking season to run from May 1st to October 31st. But they ultimately decided against the change. In Bethany Beach, the rate is also $4 to park in town using the meters. And to park in Lewis, you must pay $1.50 per hour downtown and $2.50 per hour at the beach. Fenwick Island charges $4 per hour during its paid parking season.
We do have a response to the recommendation that the Brian Allen Stevenson School in Georgetown close. The school is named after civil rights lawyer Brian Stevenson, who grew up in Milton.
But now the Delaware Department of Education says the school isn't meeting state standards. The agency started a formal review just months ago and is recommending that the school close.
Yeah, the school released this statement that we're going to show you here. This is in response to all that, saying, "We are prepared to demonstrate that the school has both the leadership and community support necessary to remain open and thrive."
The school currently has 119 6th through 9th graders and has been open for just 2 years. School leaders say charter schools usually take 3 to 5 years to get off the ground, and they're confident that they can turn this around. The Department of Education Committee report indicated that some vendors at the school weren't paid. The school leaders say that's just wrong. They say that they have their money under control and enrollment is low because the school is so new. The school is confident that they can stay open.
With our new head of school and the new structures and systems that we're putting in place, I think our community, our parents and our staff community is really appreciative of that, and they are showing us by staying committed and staying here with us at base.
And a public hearing on the possible charter revocation is March 9th in Georgetown at Del Tech. 10 days later is when the Secretary of Education will decide to close the school or not. One board member tells CoastTV that Brian Stevenson is aware of what's going on and is confident that the school will stay open and be successful for years to come.
So let's level set here and provide some background about Brian Stevenson. He is a nationally known civil rights attorney. He was born in Milton, and he's best known for founding the Equal Justice Initiative in Alabama, where he spent decades fighting wrongful convictions and excessive sentencings.
And his work is chronicled in the best-selling book, Just Mercy, which was later adapted into a major movie picture starring Michael B. Jordan.
And one of Stevenson's famous quotes is that each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done, and that you have to be proximate and up close to something to understand it. The Brian Allen Stevenson School of Excellence says it's those philosophies and more that are the basis of their mission.
And for more information on this developing situation, head to the article on our website, coasttv.com. And Cambridge police are continuing to investigate a shooting after they say a 17-year-old boy was shot Wednesday evening. It happened a little after 6:15 p.m. at the area on your screen, High Street between Washington Street and Lincoln Terrace. According to police, their shot spotter system alerted them to multiple shots being fired, and several shell casings were found on the ground as police say that there was damage to a house from the shooting.
Republican Nikki Miller says she will not run for Delaware's 20th District House seat in 2026. The former Cape Henlopen High School principal made the announcement Wednesday evening, saying after a lot of reflection, she's choosing to focus on education and her work with students, teachers, and the community. Miller narrowly lost the 2024 general election to Stell Parker-Selby and then lost last year's special election to Democrat Alana Berry. Miller says this isn't goodbye to public service, it is just a pause.
Happening today, a public workshop for Airport Road Corridor Study in Milford. The study is focusing on improving safety between Canterbury Road and Route 113. Officials are now looking for community feedback to help shape possible improvements. That workshop will take place from 4 to 6:30 p.m. at the Food Bank of Delaware Cafe in Milford. And it is important to note that this is the same area that has been closed for months as construction of a new traffic circle continues.
Sussex County Habitat for Humanity is getting a $1 million boost. Leaders there say this money could help build 10 to 15 new affordable homes.
New this morning, part of Beaver Dam Drive in Salisbury will close today as the city begins a major water system upgrade. Beaver Dam Drive at North Park Drive will shut down between East Main Street and Hillside Drive from noon to 4 p.m. City leaders say that the closure is part of a larger project to replace Salisbury's raw water main, which carries water from the well field to the treatment plant. The project is expected to be completed by the fall. And for more information on the road closure and who's affected, you can head to the article on our website, CoastTV.com.
And we're now giving you a live look at Washington, D.C. this Thursday morning. The partial government shutdown over Department of Homeland Security oversight, that seems poised to drag on. This, as lawmakers and the White House both are offering no signs of compromise.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us that some federal employees are working without pay during the shutdown as the president heads to Georgia today to talk about affordability.
President Trump eyeing two fronts today, greeting world leaders at the inaugural meeting of his Board of Peace before heading to Georgia to talk up his economic policies. The battleground visit part of a push to get on the road and boost Republicans ahead of the midterm elections.
Georgia is obviously a very important state to the president and to the Republican Party.
The president set to focus on making life more affordable as some federal employees are now working without pay, while the Department of Homeland Security is in a shutdown over Democrats' demands to reform ICE and Border Patrol tactics.
The ball is back in the court of the White House because they have our most recent response.
The White House calling that proposal unserious, confirming President Trump has not had recent direct discussions with Democrats, despite his saying Monday that he'd sit down with them this week.
I will, but we have to protect our law enforcement. They've done a great job.
A growing number of Democratic lawmakers now planning to boycott the president's State of the Union Tuesday and instead join a counter-programming rally. The domestic divide coming as President Trump faces concern among longtime allies that his Board of Peace could undermine the United Nations. The Vatican saying Pope Leo will not join the board, following suit with allies like the UK and France.
The United Nations has great potential. They haven't lived up to the potential, but I think they might aid us a little bit.
The board expanding from its initial purpose to reconstruct Gaza, with the White House saying member states have pledged more than $5 billion toward aid and rebuilding. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Tonight, the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services is scheduling an EBT outage. That's from roughly 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. on Friday morning. The DHSS says that some systems will be down for maintenance and online EBT transactions, transaction processing, and call centers will all be unavailable.
In Seaford, a 57-year-old man is facing burglary-related charges. Delaware State Police say they arrested James DeShields, and according to troopers, last fall they went to multiple burglary calls at homes that were under construction. Now, DeShields was arrested in September. That was for an unrelated matter, but after the investigation of those burglaries and connected DNA samples, they arrested DeShields for those September burglaries.
We're just getting started here on this hour of Coast TV News today.
Now, coming up, oyster industry difficulties, how officials in Virginia are working to help watermen.
Also, new homes in Harrington, why the fire department is concerned over plans for a new development.
And a school day turns into a concert, how professional musicians inspired students and struck a lasting chord. That's next on this week's Coastal Connections, and Coast TV News Today continues after the break.
Students at the Sussex Academy of Arts and Science got a special lesson, one you won't find in any old textbook. Instead of learning from behind their music stand, actual musicians from the string quartet Invoke came in to teach a class. As Coast TV's Nicole Richter showed us, it was how they took momentum and magic and turned it into music.
Music echoed through the halls at Sussex Academy of Arts and Science. As the string quartet Invoke, through coastal concerts, visited campus for a day of learning and live performance.
It's really inspiring, and it's like a really unique experience.
Before taking the stage, musicians met with band students, answering questions about practice, performances, and turning a passion into a career. For Anna Leong, the day became even more memorable when she was invited to improvise with the group.
It was a little bit nerve-wracking, but it was like cool to collaborate, and I was like, oh, how can they just think of like these like notes and chords spot on, and I was really surprised.
For the professionals, they say the visit was about more than music. It was about sparking curiosity.
We love being that experience for other students, basically, and getting them inspired and interested in music that they might not be familiar with.
The visit wrapped up with a live concert, bringing students into the music and leaving them with inspiration that lasts far beyond the final note.
No matter where you are in your kind of creative career, experimenting and having fun and messing around is a key part.
And for these students, one day with professional musicians may just strike a chord that lasts a lifetime.
From questions in the classrooms to music on stage, a small performance with a big impact connecting students through music. In Georgetown, I'm Nicole Richter, Coast TV News.
Time is 6:20 a.m. and you are looking live at Salisbury, and not as much fog. You can see the cloud cover overhead there in this shot here, but not as much fog compared to areas north and east. And Chris, once we get past the fog that other areas are experiencing that's very thick, you have some rain to tell us about.
Yeah, I like to deliver the good news in the morning, but yeah, not much the way to sugarcoat the forecast here today. We have some raw conditions out there, and you can see, can't really see the bridge this morning in Ocean View. We were dealing with a marine layer that worked in here over the last hour, 35 degrees there, and you can see that fog pretty much encompassing most of the area through Dorchester County, in through the heart of the area, visibility around about a half a mile to a mile and a half, and you can see south of Salisbury, not much in the way of fog there as the visibility has improved. Dense marine fog advisory off of Fenwick Island down through Ocean City, down through Chickateague. That runs through 1 o'clock this afternoon. We're generally in the mid to upper 30s across the area, 37 in Long Neck, but there's that northeast wind bringing in that low-level moisture in off the Atlantic. Other than that, we are dealing with rain just to our south across the southern portion of the peninsula. But you can see that backdoor cold front pushing through the area. We have high pressure just to the northeast. But the rain you see over West Virginia, that is our rain later on today. And we're going to be kind of in and out of the showers as we go into the evening and overnight. So a misty, cool, raw start to our day. The rain develops this afternoon, and that rain will be heavy at times. And then, yes, you've heard the rumblings. All eyes on that coastal storm later on this weekend. 45 this afternoon in Seaford, Georgetown, 45 Snow Hill to 44 in Bethany Beach with that persistent northeast wind flow. There's the on and off showers developing this afternoon and could be heavy at times as we go into about 6 o'clock, and you can see temperatures are holding in the 30s and 40s, so just a raw evening, and that on and off rain will be with us even into Friday morning, so expect a wet morning commute. Temperatures are well in the 40s, so not dealing with any frozen precipitation, and then that rain will end about midday on Friday. And I think we'll salvage the afternoon with temperatures rebounding back into the 50s by Friday afternoon. Rainfall in the order of 3/4 of an inch to a little over an inch in some locations. Bethany picking up an inch, Princess Anne a little over an inch by Friday midday. The pick of the week, Saturday, 53 degrees, and then all eyes on that weekend coastal storm. Some of the models, the American and Canadian, tracking it a bit closer and much more intense. The Euro, well, a bit further offshore, but still has the storm beginning as rain, changing over to a period of wet snow into early Monday morning. We will continue to fine-tune the forecast over the next few days. It does turn quite colder into the early part of next week, but it's a brief shot because we're back up into the 40s by Wednesday.
Thank you, Chris. 484 new homes are proposed in Harrington, and city officials say the development is needed to meet a housing demand. But Harrington firefighters, they're warning that this all could strain resources.
It's going to increase our total call volume with fire and EMS. As we've already seen in the past year, we've jumped up over 50 calls already with the little impact we've had. So we're increasing, planning a significant increase in the total call volume.
And if all permits are approved, the city says the first construction one, that could get issued in about a year.
And up next on Coast TV News Today, oyster industry difficulties. How some watermen say the weather is impacting oysters on the eastern shore. Coast TV News will be right back. Emergency relief could be on the way for watermen on Virginia's eastern shore. This is sent by Accomack County leaders to the Virginia Marine Resources Commission. And according to the letter, the oystering industry is facing several difficulties, such as weeks of bitter cold temperatures and a poor market. Watermen in Accomack County say it's created a brutal scenario.
The lucky ones have gotten to go to work a couple days a week. You know, that's the lucky ones. There's boys that haven't even put their dredge rigs on this year at all. They've had no market from the first day till now.
And it's not just watermen facing difficult times. According to the harbor master in Accomack County, at least 50% of oysters grown through aquaculture were killed off this year by the severely cold temperatures.
It's a damp, raw start to our Thursday morning here on Delmarva. We've been tracking fog. Cambridge, one of those locations, we had visibility down to a quarter of a mile just an hour ago. We're down to 40 degrees right now in Cambridge. Temperatures are going to hold in the 30s through Ocean City and Fenwick Island through the morning, getting only into the mid-40s with rain developing later on this afternoon through the evening hours. Lewis, we start off with the fog. We are primarily dry through noon, and then the showers will be developing after about 3, and that rain will be heavy at times. Cambridge, the foggy start, and then there's the showers developing a little earlier across the mid-shore. I think around like lunchtime, a little after, we will see those showers develop for the mid-shore. Lauren Piorco of Lewis, Delaware, congratulations on winning an umbrella from Coast TV. We have an active weather pattern developing beginning tonight through the weekend. I'll break down the latest on our coastal storm threat in the next half hour.
Thank you, Chris. After the break on Coast TV News Today, Nikki Miller makes decision why she says she will not be running for Delaware's 20th District House seat in 2026.
Also, committee recommends school close, how the Brian Allen Stevenson School is responding.
Plus, parking meter price moves. How much costs could increase in several coastal communities. Coast TV News Today continues after the break.
Now on Coast TV News.
Campaign comeback canceled. After narrow defeats in 2 recent Delaware State House elections, why Republican Nikki Miller says she's sitting the cycle out.
Parking problems after claims of lost revenue, what Bethany Beach officials are looking to change to make up for the lost money.
Plus, charter crisis with the Brian Allen Stevenson School facing a forced closure, how officials there are responding.
It's another morning. We're tracking some patchy fog across the peninsula. Rain develops this afternoon through Friday morning on the latest rainfall totals, and all eyes on a potential coastal storm threat over the weekend.
This is Coast TV News Today.
February 19th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for joining us today.
6:31 a.m. and if you're about to head out on the road, you're likely to experience some fog.
That's right, Matt, and some pretty dense fog at times across the area. We've been tracking cameras all morning, and Chris has been helping us check out the fog situation that's going on.
Yeah, let's check out Chris right now. He's in the Weather Center. Chris, got a foggy morning and a wet afternoon ahead of us today.
Yeah, not much in the way of good news to bring Delmarva this morning, unfortunately. You take your time out there venturing out to your destinations this morning, because we have been tracking that fog. It's been pretty dense, as you can see here in Ocean View, 35, but note the northeast wind. So we have added moisture coming in off the Atlantic, so that is just kind of exacerbating the issue. Visibility down to a half a mile in Cambridge. We've seen some pretty dense fog up across Kent County and then along the Delaware coast. Temperatures are above the freezing mark, so we're not dealing with any icy conditions. 37 in Georgetown, we're at 38 Salisbury, 35 in Bethany Beach. There's that northeast wind, and that's going to be stuck with us for most of the day today. Then we're going to add some rain on top of that, so not the prettiest of days ahead. You can see the rain primarily off to the south across the southern tip of the peninsula. The shower activity you see across western Virginia as well as Kentucky, that's going to be pushing into our area this afternoon. So we have the fog, the mist to start. Will be dry at least through midday, and then after about noon, we'll see those showers begin to develop across the midshore and then through the coast as we get into about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. And the rain's going to be with us at least through the night and into the start of our Friday, and then the latest on our coastal storm threat this weekend here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. And we're giving you a live look now at the fog situation. This is Rehoboth Beach on the boardwalk, and normally, it's a little bit clearer. You can see the boardwalk. You can see down there on the right side of your screen, but you can see the fog on the coast in this part of Delmarva this morning. And we do have some breaking news right now. Police have arrested Andrew Mountbatten Windsor today. That's Prince Andrew, the former prince, was arrested following weeks of revelations about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Officers were seen arriving at Andrew's residence on what is his 66th birthday. Mountbatten Windsor has always denied any wrongdoing in connection to his affiliation with Epstein and said he regrets the friendship.
Another coastal town is looking at raising its parking prices.
Yeah, today Bethany Beach is looking at increasing rates for annual parking permit fees, and CoastTV news reporter Elisa Weber is live in Bethany. Town says they're looking to apply that increase to a specific pass. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Right now, I am standing at a parking lot in Bethany Beach that is designated as a beach lot. In order to park here, you can pay at the meter, which you see right here. You can also purchase a beach parking lot permit, or some residents are also given access to the beach lot through a residential permit, according to the town. But at a meeting on January 15th, members of the Budget and Finance Committee said that there was an 8.2% decrease in the number of parking hours purchased. It was recommended the town stop giving property owners a free beach permit like they have in the past, as well as raise the price of the beach permit. The town says they ultimately want less beach permits purchased in order to increase more daily parkers in parts of these lots. They said this is in hopes of increasing parking revenue. This is important to note that Bethany did raise its hourly parking fees last year to $4 an hour at meters. We spoke with frequent visitors to Bethany who say talks of raising prices is no surprise.
Yeah, everything's getting more expensive everywhere. I don't know when prices had ever come down.
And the Budget and Finance Committee will further discuss these proposed increases at this morning's 10 a.m. meeting. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa, live in Bethany Beach.
And the parking discussion is happening while Lewis is looking to increase its fees as part of its fiscal year 2027 budget. We previously reported that there is a proposal of upping the hourly rate for in-town meters to $2.50 and beach parking to $3. The city says that if the fee changes go into effect this summer, it will generate an additional $250,000. Lewis leaders could take that parking rate proposal up at a special budget meeting this Friday.
New this morning, we have a response to the recommendation that the Brian Allen Stevenson School in Georgetown close. Now, the school is named after civil rights lawyer Brian Stevenson, who grew up in Milton.
But now the Delaware Department of Education says that the school isn't meeting state standards. The agency stated that a formal review just 2 months ago began and is now recommending that the school close.
So last night, the school released this statement in response, saying in part, quote, "We are prepared to demonstrate that the school has both the leadership and community support necessary to remain open and thrive."
The school currently has 119 6th through 9th graders, and was open just for 2 years. School leaders say that charter schools usually take about 3 to 5 years to get off the ground, and they're confident that they can turn it around. The school says that it is confident that it will turn around, and a public hearing on the possible charter revocation is March 9th in Georgetown at Del Tech. 10 days later is when the Secretary of Education will decide to close the school or not. And happening today, a public workshop for the Airport Road Corridor study in Milford. The study is focusing on improving safety between Canterbury Road and Route 113. Officials are now looking for community feedback to help shape possible improvements, and the workshop will take place from 4 to 6:30 p.m. at the Food Bank of Delaware Cafe in Milford. It is important to note that this is the same area that has been closed for months as construction of a new traffic circle continues.
Republican Nikki Miller says she will not run for Delaware's 20th District House seat in 2026. The former Cape Henlopen High School principal made the announcement last night, saying after a lot of reflection, she is choosing to focus on education and her work with students, teachers, and the community. Miller narrowly lost the 2024 general election to Stell Parker Selby and then lost last year's special election to Democrat Alana Berry. Miller says this isn't goodbye to public service, it is just a pause. New overnight, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified in a lawsuit that this could affect hundreds of other cases by families who say their children have been harmed or even died because of social media.
Reed Binion showing us the claims and how parents say their children were impacted in this landmark case.
Mark Zuckerberg walked in the front door of the Los Angeles Superior Courthouse Wednesday morning and walked out the back door that afternoon. In the intervening hours, the Meta CEO took the stand in a landmark trial. Zuckerberg testified before a jury for the first time ever about accusations that social media, including Instagram, is harmful to children's mental health. A 20-year-old woman identified only as Kaylee accuses Meta and YouTube of designing addictive features that hooked her as a small child, causing anxiety, depression, and body dysmorphia. Meta denies those allegations and says it's implemented numerous measures to safeguard young users. At the core of Zuckerberg's testimony were questions about what Meta knew about the potential risks to young people and whether it did enough to mitigate them. Before Wednesday's proceedings began, nearly a dozen parents who say their children were harmed gathered and joined hands outside the courthouse. After Zuckerberg's testimony, parents spoke to the press. Some expressed frustration.
I don't have any satisfaction. It's very similar to what happened in Congress 2 years ago when he swore under oath.
But there was also an acknowledgement of the importance of this moment in the landmark trial.
Today was the most important day for us to understand the truth of what happened and what was known.
I believe that there will be change.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Passengers being forced to evacuate a JetBlue flight at Newark Liberty International Airport after smoke was reported in the cockpit, and the plane experienced engine trouble shortly after takeoff. Officials say that the JetBlue flight departed Newark Liberty International Airport and was headed for West Palm Beach. The cause of the engine issue and cockpit smoke remains under investigation by the FAA.
And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Audible is unveiling a new feature, how the company says people can connect ebooks to the listening app.
And Delaware Bluecoats preview the 76ers G League affiliate. They got a key matchup tonight with a playoff berth in sight. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
Boy, has it been a gloomy week on the peninsula with temperatures all over the place as we take a live look into Salisbury. Haven't seen much in the way of fog there this morning, but it's a damp start. 37 degrees with that northeast wind at about 10 miles an hour. Visibility is starting to improve. We've had visibility as low as a quarter of a mile at times throughout the area. We've had that push of onshore moisture with the northeast wind flow. 41 right now in Cambridge. We're at 36 in Georgetown. You can see high pressure just off our northeast creating that onshore flow as that backdoor cold front is pushed through. That front's going to eventually lift through the area as a warm front tonight. Temperatures only reaching the lower to mid 40s through the coast with rain developing this afternoon, and that rain will be on and off through the evening, heavy at times. You get your latest forecast by calling our First Alert Weather phone, sponsored by Broxton Mandalas Federico. The latest on rain carrying over into our Friday, and then all eyes on that coastal storm this weekend. I'll have the latest on that here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. In your consumer news now, Audible is announcing the rollout of an immersion reading in its app. Customers who own both the audiobook and Kindle ebook versions of a title can now follow synchronized highlighted text as the narration plays. The app will automatically show you which ebooks have audiobooks to match, and the company's data shows that users who consume both nearly as much content each month.
IKEA is planning to open 10 new locations in the U.S. this year, though the Swedish furniture store, they have 500 locations overall. Fewer than 60 of them are here in the United States. So this year, Alabama and Oklahoma, they are getting their first IKEAs in Huntsville and Tulsa. New stores will also open in Arizona, California, Colorado, Illinois, and Virginia.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Up in Wilmington, DSN finally returns to the Chase Fieldhouse.
also known as the home of the Delaware Bluecoats. We haven't broadcasted a G League game since December, so let's get you back up to speed on Philly's theater program. The highlight of our early season coverage for the Delaware Bluecoats was the Jared McCain saga. He dealt with a lot of injuries in his second season with the 76ers, and they actually gave up on him completely. They traded him to the reigning NBA champs, the Oklahoma City Thunder. But don't worry, without McCain, who didn't really end up playing much for Delaware anyway, the team has been good. In the month of February, they've won 3 of 4, took down the Valley Suns in Arizona, squeaked by the Wisconsin Herd at home. They'd also lose to them the second go-around. Last time out, they did get smoked by the Long Island Nets by 16. Over the next couple of days, they host the Maine Celtics, obviously the affiliate of Boston's team. So game 1, you can catch that one tonight at 7 o'clock on DSN. And then on Saturday, a little weekend special for you as they will rematch with the Celtics at 6. Top player to watch out on for the Celtics, Ron Harper. If the name sounds familiar, his father played in the NBA back in the day with the Bulls. And unlike his father, he has got a full head of hair and a good basketball game. Have a good one, Delmarva.
And coming up tonight on DSN, as you just saw at 7, we have live NBA G League action when those Bluecoats take on the Celtics. And then you can catch the final score at 10:30. On DSN Plus at noon, catch Maryland Eastern Shore taking on Roberts Wesleyan. That's in men's volleyball. And at 5:30 p.m., Bennett hosts Y-High in boys basketball.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign up to get a weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Well, I wish I could help give you a better weather forecast to help cheer you up today, but the gloominess is with us once again. Seeing some mist at the coast, tracking rain this afternoon, and an even more significant storm system possible over the weekend. I'll have the latest on Coast TV News Today continues.
And the time is now 6:49 a.m. as we're taking a live look. Okay. All right. I was going to say, wow, nice view of Laurel this morning. No, we are just looking at fog for another day in the row. Chris.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What are we going to do with this?
It's been like Groundhog Day, right? Every morning.
Every morning this week, we get this fog.
Fog, low clouds, and we have some added moisture now coming in off the Atlantic, just kind of exacerbating things across the area. Cambridge right now, 39. We needed visibility as though it was a quarter mile there, so we are improving a bit. We're now up to a mile visibility there in Georgetown, 3/4 of a mile in Ocean City. Now we do have that dense marine fog advisory continuing off the coast of Ocean City down through Chickateague through this afternoon. Temperatures are holding in the mid to upper 30s. We're at 37 Long Neck, 37 in Milton, 38 in Seaford. There's that northeast wind bringing in that marine layer, so it's been a misty morning along the beaches. Now we are free of any rain at this hour, but you can see scattered showers across portions of West Virginia and Kentucky. This backdoor cold front is going to eventually lift northward through the overnight, and then that cold front back off to the west will be passing through on Friday. So temperatures holding generally in the mid 40s for most of us this afternoon with that persistent northeast to east wind. There's the rain developing later on this afternoon. Could be heavy at times as we go into the dinner time hour. Temperatures holding generally in the 40s through the evening and even into the overnight with some patchy fog possible. We could see a little break in the action overnight before another wave of moisture rolls in just in time for the morning commute Friday and through at least late in the morning. And I think by the afternoon we begin to dry out. Ahead of the front, though, we could touch the mid to upper 50s. Rainfall on the order of 3/4 of an inch for most of the area. I think we will see some locally higher amounts of over an inch by Friday midday. All eyes on the weekend. We've been talking about this potential weekend storm. There's going to be a storm. What's the strength of the storm like, and how close does it track to the coast are the million-dollar questions. We have rain developing Sunday afternoon through the evening as colder air filters in from the upper levels of the atmosphere. That rain will transition to a heavy wet snow as we go into Sunday night and through early Monday morning. And we are looking at much colder conditions by the early part of next week. So temperatures holding in the upper 30s Monday and Tuesday, and then we rebound pretty quickly, seasonable, back into the 40s by Wednesday.
Thank you, Chris. And you are now looking live at downtown Cortina, Italy. That is a camera, and that is snow on the lens. Now, just a moment ago, they wiped that clean, so we had a clear view of Cortina. But, boy, that snow must be accumulating pretty quick. I just want to see if they'll wipe it again. Yeah, I guess not. Well, it is good that it's snowing there because that's where those ski events are taking place.
If you were there, you would have wiped it off,
I
right?
saw it just 5 minutes ago. There you go. I was waiting for that. That's what we were waiting for. And there it is. There is Cortina, snow and all as they approach the 1 o'clock hour, 1 p.m. their local time. All right, let's take a look at the medal count. The U.S. has 7 gold medals, 11 silver, and 6 bronze. It brings their total to 24. Norway still in the lead in this whole thing with 15 gold, 8 silver, 10 bronze. That is a total of 33. Italy, 9 gold, 5 silver, 12 bronze. Their overall total is 26.
This has definitely been an entertaining Olympics to watch, and it is day 16 of the competition. And our coverage will continue all the way to the closing ceremonies that are on February 22nd, right here on Coast TV.
And we have that programming note for you. Due to the Winter Olympics, through the 20th, you can catch Jeopardy on our sister station, Fox 21, at its regular time at 7:30 p.m. So it's the same show, same time, but it's just a different channel while the games are on.
And the time is now 6:52 a.m. as we are taking a look with our coastal pet of the day, Matt Pensick.
Yeah, we are being told that this cat is a model named Moo Moo. High fashion cat. Never takes a bad photograph. Never. Moo Moo was submitted to us by his family in Lewis.
I wonder if Moo Moo goes to Milan, not for the Olympics, but maybe for Fashion Week.
Yeah.
With the high fashion
Good
modeling. All right, thank you so much again, Meredith, for sending in your photo of Moo Moo. Meredith is my spray tan girl, and I wonder if she's ever given her cat a spray tan. Matt?
It looks like, well, it wouldn't affect the fur if that was the case.
All right, thank you so much for sending in this photo. And if you'd like to submit your photos to us, you can see your screen now.
It's QR code top center, scan it, get your friends to us, then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. And we have one final check with First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. Fog now, possibly rain later. It's a damp day no matter how you cut it.
You know what that's not good for?
You're going to say the hair, right?
The hair. This is not good for anyone. Chris, why do you have to do this to us again?
I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. I tried to bring some warm temperatures yesterday. It wasn't too sunny, and we've been dealing with the fog this morning. See, pretty dense up across Kent County. Visibility slowly improving through the heart of Delmarva, but we do have that persistent onshore wind that's making things quite raw along the coast. Rain develops this afternoon through the evening on and off, and then another round Friday morning. We do see some sunshine by Saturday. That is certainly the pick of the weekend. And then all eyes on that coastal low intensifying offshore. How close does it track? How intense does it form? We will likely see rain go over to heavy wet snow into early Monday morning. We're going to continue to fine-tune the forecast here over the next few days.
Thank you, Chris. It certainly is a roller coaster of a temperature.
Has been, yes.
Well, thank you so much, Chris, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Thursday morning, everybody.